So I'm pretty sure that everyone understands that in gaming today, we got all these fucked up and predatory practices that create a ridiculously fucked up environment for the consumer. And you, as the consumer, have been almost entirely dissatisfied with the content output over the last however long. And I just definitely feel like we are right now at a crossroads or a tipping point, as you often always are, and don't even really currently know it, where anytime we fail to support something that does not follow these same predatory models and practices, and at least attempts, and especially if it does a good job at delivering a good product, we're just reinforcing those same structures. We're giving companies absolutely zero reason to not scientifically formulate dog shit that achieves maximum profits. And as somebody who tends to lean a little bit to the left and manage to remain apolitical anyways, it has always been one of my most firmly held beliefs that you can think however the fuck you want, regardless of how I feel about it. Even if I disagree with you vehemently, it doesn't matter. You're still allowed to have your own fucking opinion. That is my strongest opinion. Now, I know a lot of y'all do not care, but I do. Alright? And you talking about it a lot, so obviously you do care. And whether you just want to simply play this goddamn game, whether you simply want to just play Hogwartz Legacy, or you absolutely hate, you want to refuse support to it, that's perfectly fine. You're allowed to do either or. I personally totally understand the arguments and get why people, especially gay and trans people, would not want to support the author of this franchise. I mean, we all grew up with it. We all know the backstory behind it. And if that's important to you, then do that or don't. For me personally, it's extremely easy to separate the art from the artist. I don't generally enjoy falling into forms of identity politics, and I'm not thinking about what the artist thinks or does or even gives. I don't give a shit about the artist when I'm consuming something, when I'm eating something, when I'm watching something, when I'm playing something. If it actually worked that way, a lot of these companies at the highest end, as we already know, are the same companies. We wouldn't be able to consume anything. It doesn't. That doesn't mean I'm somehow right and you're wrong because I feel differently than you. It's simply a difference in opinion, and it is because that is an opinion that difference does not matter. But what I think does matter, and what I would genuinely like to be acknowledged here, is that this game just was not that bad. This game was actually pretty good, both narratively and the game was fun. The story was good and the game was fun. And I just really do feel that with the current climate in gaming, letting projects like this, letting an actual solid project die, not even just this one, letting an actual solid project die and refusing its support, while companies like Blizzard, not that I hate Blizzard, do what they did with Diablo Immortal, is a much bigger issue than like consumer activism on this level, because it doesn't work. We're not going to make her any less rich than she currently is, but we can continue to feed into these predatory practices and continue down a route where it can't be changed, and gaming will be negatively affected. I know a lot of the people involved with this issue don't give a fuck about gaming as a whole, so I'm talking to the ones that do. Obviously, if you give a shit, it's just entirely too easy to just say, oh, games are dog shit, gaming is dead. You know what I mean? That's just a matter of perspective, brother. There are people that are still playing Rocket League and Siege and GTA. I mean, and then we had the games that we had last year. We had God of War and Elden Ring last year, as well as some other pretty alright supporting examples. And I don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to tell you who to give your money to or who not to. As I've already spent some of this time explaining, and not only do I not give a shit, I think you're totally within your right to make your own decision on that. But I just think, as is often the case with this conversation, we're not. What actually matters is not being talked about. Obviously, you know what I mean. As I said, consumer activism, which is what we are attempting, does not work on this level because we cannot make her any less rich. But they will continue to destroy this thing that we love if we let them. So much like anything else on the fucking planet, just do whatever you want and allow everyone else to make that same decision for themselves. Please. This conversation is obviously nowhere near as big a deal as some of the much more common wedge issues that we face as a fucking society. But there's a lot of animosity involved, as there usually is with these things. And I would say that it all serves the same purpose. You are actively helping them to further divide us. Stop it. Just stop it. None of this shit, the stakes aren't that high. I promise you, the stakes aren't that high. Live and let live. Enjoy yourself. Holy shit. I know a lot of times with these things, it feels like a vicious and inescapable cycle. It is. I mean, if the content's dog shit and the community's dog shit, you can't change what the content's going to be, but you are the community. So maybe just be less dog shit. I mean, but one thing that is entirely inescapable, and we all know it, is the top of the hour ad break. So, subscribe to the Hasanabi broadcast or get fucked.